Hello, my name is JacquelineTilligkeit. I am the Principal Geospatial Sciences Program Lead at SWCA, which is an environmental consulting company. And we are a company of about 40 offices across the United States. And SWCA has a team of about 70 GIS people at this point and growing. And our primary responsibilities on the GIS team are supporting the resource professionals and project managers who are working to make sure that our clients have all the support they need navigating environmental permits and regulations. So, for example, our company will go out and will need to perform wetland surveys or endangered species surveys or historical artifacts. And we need to make sure our resource professionals have all of the mobile data collection platforms that they need available to them. And then we assist them and work with them to do the data analysis on it and produce any maps that our clients might need so that they can digest all the information. And that map might be a PDF, it might be a web map or a hub site or a story map in this case. So today I'm going to highlight one of our big GIS efforts on a project for the city of Corona, and it's a story map. A little bit of background before I dive into it. The city reached out to us because they were recently deemed a high-risk community by the California Fire Alliance. So they've had a lot of fires in the past and have a significant wildland urban interface because the community borders the Santa Ana mountain range, which is forested. So the city of Corona is really a prime example of a community that is faced with the need to prepare for inevitable wildfire events. So they reached out to us to create a community wildfire protection plan, or a CWPP, and that was to serve as kind of a framework for a more comprehensive long-term resiliency plan. And the city has really an eye to the future, looking for ways to work with other communities and consider ways to reduce risk of wildfire, as well as monitor progress on reducing that risk and moving in that direction. So the idea of a story map came out of wanting to create a way for the public to digest information easily in an engaging and interactive way without having to flip through a 100-page PDF, because nobody wants to do that. So in this instance, the story map really provided an opportunity for public education, outreach, public involvement, because the public could leave comments. They could submit comments through the story map about the plan itself, and sharing information such as, like, what are the baseline fire conditions like in the community? What are the associated risks with those baseline conditions? And it also helped kind of provide recommendations for future projects or reducing any risk in the future. It also provided the public with recommended mitigation measures to incorporate in and around their own property to reduce fire risk and increase safety response. So let's dive into it. Let's get into the story map. So this is where you end up when you first click on the link. And as you scroll down, you go into the introduction section, and it includes a bunch of different sections in the story map itself, and those are along the top here. And as you scroll down, that stays along the top, which is handy. So the introduction page really provides kind of a short overview and purpose of the project. It has links such as, like, contact us, and it actually has a link to the PDF version. If that's more your flavor, you want to read through 100-something page PDF, you can. You just click on the link. So this interactive map on the right has an oblique view, and you are able to see all of the current and recent wildfire incidences in this map in basically real time. This data is tied into a couple different authoritative data sources that are updated really frequently, like 15 minutes, 30 minutes, hour. and the users can navigate around the oblique view and kind of figure out where their house is, where maybe a current wildfire boundary is, and how their house might be affected by that. The MODIS and the VEERS data is the thermal hotspot information, and that's updated every hour. And those are sensors on satellites, in case you didn't know. So following the active wildfire map is information on kind of the project history, National Cohesive Strategy, Healthy Forest Restoration Act, all of that stuff. And right off the bat, if you've noticed, if you've never made a story map, the benefits are that you can pull together a kind of a narrative flow of text and interactive maps and now graphics. And so it really keeps the reader engaged, moving from one topic to another and holding their attention with interesting content. So as we keep scrolling, we end up at the public involvement page or section. And so if you'll notice this template of the story map, you can scroll down the page and you'll be immediately entering the next section. But also on the headers on the top, or on the header with the links, you can see that as you move through, the different one that you're located on will highlight, which is helpful. So the public involvement page kind of offers an opportunity for the public to attend scheduled events and is kind of like a little communication platform, and it's updated regularly. So back to some maps. The fire environment section includes a wildland urban interface map. It also has some fire regimes and fire history, which we'll go into. But beginning with the wildland urban interface, it goes into definitions of an interface community versus intermixed community. And you can zoom around the map, determining which one your property is classified as. And this is important for community members to see because fire can move really fast between structural and vegetative fuels, increasing the potential for wildland fire ignitions and the corresponding potential loss of life and property. So it's important for them to know that information. So moving on, we have a little small blurb about fire regimes and a graphic with links for some information sheets to download. So you can click on the link and then it will pop open a PDF that you can save and just has some more information for you to have handy. So the vegetation map, excuse me, has a summary of the different common vegetation types found in the community or found in the city. And again, for homeowners to really just click around and see which vegetation type they reside in, and sort of a description of each as you scroll down will tell you a little bit about that vegetation community. So before continuing on about some of the next really cool content, I just want to take a minute and acknowledge the value of a narrative story map right now. So we started with an introduction, discussed the public and classifying communities, defined vegetation types, and now we're going into kind of the meat of it. How does our vegetation play into the fuel of a fire that might affect your community? That sort of guided understanding of a complex topic is why story maps are called story maps. It's a narrative and engaging journey of information. So moving on. The fire behavior fuel models was done by our very talented GIS folks using a standard classification system of fuel, taking into account vegetation as well as litter. And my team also added this sweet little swipe bar so you can go between the the vegetation and the fuel to see how the vegetation affects the fuel. So that's a fun little interactive thing. And then the fire history. Another cool little feature is in the fire history section, we have a time slider. So you can push play and see the history of all of the footprints of the burns around the city of Corona since 1927. I'm just going to play that, and you'll see that like different footprints will highlight in a brighter color, and then we will sort of compile those. Oops, I didn't press stop. Let's try that again. There you go, all highlighting yellow and then compiling on top of each other so that we have like a full understanding of what the history of the fire activity was in the area. Now, taking that data, we can go right into a dashboard that we embedded, which is a little bit squished right now, but it looks fine when you're on a big monitor and you're not trying to record a video. So we took that data, the fire footprint data, and now we can kind of break it down and have an interactive data analysis that the user can use. So like, say you only want to see really big fires that happened, you can click on the dashboard or on the little chart, and then it will filter out that data. So say you want to see only big fires that was caused by playing with fire. Boom, that's the one right there. So there it is, pretty nifty. So in the interest of time, I'm going to skip over to our hazard risk assessment section by using our nice tool header on the top. And this section looks at the hazard and risks of each little community of concern in the area. And you can go to the one that is of most concern to you and look at some more additional information about it. So if you click through, we'll talk about what the difference between a hazard and a risk is, a little bit of background and information on the risk rating that we provide. And then you can click and you will see the different communities here. So say we go to the Skyline community, we'll go and we get this really handy. I just love this because it's such a helpful way for somebody to digest information quickly. So the community of Skyline in the city of Corona is a high risk rating for wildfire. And so below that, we also have some positives and some negatives for the community itself. So positive, roads are pretty wide. That's good. We have better access, not a huge risk there. Utilities are underground, also good. Less likely to have fires if you don't have electric lines above, overhead electric lines. Most of the fuel areas are upslope, also good because fire tends to move uphill. So if the fuel is already uphill, then it's not a concern. Negatives, only one road in and out, and also they're planning on some potential development in the area. So there is some negatives there. Also, this area has a significant history of high fire occurrence. So definitely a negative. And then we have some recommendations for the community and the city on what can be done to kind of improve this risk rating. So, and the last thing I want to show you, not in the hazard risk assessment, but in the values at risk section, we have a couple different maps looking at the highly valued resources and assets, or HVRA. And those things will include sensitive natural areas or cultural areas, as well as public assets like trails, public lands, that kind of thing. Each of the different types has a map that you can click through. The natural HVRAs, which are, again, public lands, trail system, agricultural land, scenic view sheds, lot of data. Very nice cartographic map. Oh, my screen color just changed. Hold on a second. Please hold. Okay. And then, and so it's a really nice, dense map that you can look through, and it has some interactive legends, which makes sifting through all of that data much easier. And then we also have the socioeconomic HVRA, which includes schools, tourism values, like restaurants and things like that. So these are the areas. The HVRAs are really things that we want to protect in the communities from wildfire risk, in addition to our homes and our properties. But senior housing, daycare, that kind of thing. So there's the socioeconomic HVRAs all mapped out with the interactive legend, and then also cultural HVRAs, so museum, churches, cemeteries, that kind of thing. And that's the gist of it. I mean, there's tons of content in the story map. There's another embedded dashboard. There's a lot of beautiful pictures, and it's a really cool project, really cool product, and it has some nice analysis that was done by my GIS team. And it really provides a super user-friendly way to explain not just a complicated topic, but a sensitive one. And being able to incorporate text, photos, maps, dashboards, videos, all of that is it's very helpful, and we can do it in a comprehensive way where we have the opportunity to collaborate really thoroughly with our project managers at SWCA and our clients. And it's a really fun and rewarding experience. So thank you so much for listening and watching, and please reach out with any questions. I may direct you to one of my team members, which is they're really cool people, so you would be missing out if you didn't get to talk to them. But since my name is a little complicated to spell, I put it on here, or I put a QR code on there so you can connect directly to LinkedIn and just reach out that way. But that's a wrap, and take care and happy GIS Day, and reach out if I can help you with anything.